Hello, welcome to the final video tutorial of the Czardas practice challenge. I saved the best section for last. This is the Largo. And the first thing you'll notice is that there's a Roman numeral sign number 4 on top of the first note, and then dashes across right at the end of the second line. So it means that we need to play all of these notes on the G string, and that's very tricky to do because it's hard to pull a really clear sound on the G string. So I'll give you some tips on how I try to navigate that. So first note is on first position, the note A. So when you shift into sixth position with the third finger for that sustained A, note A, what you want to do is to consciously move everything to this side. So your bow is going to be playing initially closer to the fingerboard with the first note. So I move the left hand this way, and I move the bow hand this way as well. And so this means that we are going to constantly adjust where we're going to place the bow on between this section of the string. So from the bridge to the fingerboard. When we are in first position, we're going to play closer to the fingerboard, and then when we're shifting really high up here, we play closer to the bridge. So that really helps with the tone production. So again, that's not very clear. It sounds muddy. So let me try again. So you see what I mean? So yeah, you just have to keep trying it until you find the sweet spot for where you want to place your bow. So. And that sustain there is very difficult to do if you're closer to the fingerboard. So it is a requirement for you to move here with the bow. And then here, towards the end of that bow stroke, we want to shift down where our first finger would be. So in this position, this is sixth position, we are covering this note F. I think this is F, G, A. So the spaces between them is a whole step. And what we want to do is when we shift down, we're going to shift to fifth position with the second finger. So when I'm shifting down, I'm thinking of replacing the first finger with the second to make it easier for me to visualize where I am in the fingerboard. So again. And then shift back down to the very, it feels like a big shift down. So I'm thinking of first position and place my first finger, and I know that the B flat is going to be directly next to first finger. So there. Again, let me try that. Here. So here in this position, this is third position now, I want you to remember this finger spacing pattern, this C sharp to E to G. These are all minor thirds in interval. And take note that your third finger is going to make slight adjustment because it's either going to be playing E or F. And they're very close to each other. So here. So now, as you can see, the fourth finger is in an extended position. This is quite difficult for the fourth finger. Sorry. Now the third finger plays F. And then E. So F and then E. It's either playing one of those two notes. But you're not shifting, so you're staying in third position, C sharp, first finger on the C sharp. And then here for this section, where there's up bow, spiccato. I prefer to do spiccato. I let the bow bounce a little so that it feels lighter and I'm not doing this. I mean, you could do that as well, but I think it sounds more elegant when you do the bouncy up bow bow stroke. So here. So here, the note E. Back down to the A. Very hard to really get that A. And then once you get used to the shift from first to sixth, I think you'll find that your hand just finds a way to remember where those touch points are, and it becomes this automatic thing where your hand kind of measures exactly where it's supposed to go. It's kind of an intuition thing. So here on the second, it's like a repeat section. So here we're back at that minor third, first finger, third finger, and fourth finger kind of spacing pattern. And then F, E. So we've done all of these notes before, but now it's in different order. So let me try to play all of the first part of the Largo, the first two lines, so that you can see how it sounds together. So onto the next section, you have the option to play this first measure in first or in third position. So I'll show you both so you can decide which one you like best. For in first position, what you can do is to do this faux shift type of thing with the third finger. So slide into the C. And then if I do that slowly, so it's like this. Slide into the C. I really like the brilliance of the strings in first position, but I prefer to play this part actually in third. So I'll show you quickly what that looks like. I slide in the same way as I did before, but this time with the first finger into third position. You can see that the sound is a little bit more muted. And yeah, so there's not much difference in the second measure, because what you end up having is your first finger on the B flat And then you shift into third position to play the same note, B flat here, to have that tone color change, which is so gypsy. And yeah, so the next section here now is exactly the same rhythm. By the way, I think that the most difficult part of this section is the rhythm, and so what I try to do to mitigate this is to say it out loud. So I do this type of thing where I sound out the notes. So bum ba 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 bum ba bum ba bum 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 ba bum. It doesn't have to be in tune. So it's just the rhythm so that I can have a little framework to work with to fit the notes in. And the important note here is the E. So I want to land on the E, on that beat. And I treat the little run in the middle like a flourish, like something, I don't know, like ornaments. So here, we're on the third measure now with the next section. So my goal is to get to the E. Like that. So everything in between is just fast notes. I'm trying to fit all of those notes before I get to the E. So now from the harmonic note, so up bow there, open string. And this note here on the E is quite tricky to find because this is in second position. So you might have to do it a few times to really feel exactly where your fingers need to go. So yeah, this is the practice. So do it a few times until your fingers really know where they should go. So from here, from the E, so I shift from C sharp, D, E, F. And we do the up bow spiccato type of bow stroke to have that really light touch. And then on the down bow, you replace the third finger with the second. Again, here, same note, A, but on the D string. And you add the little faux shift. So here. In this last two measure, where the grace notes are, this is pretty tricky because of the rhythm. And so let me show you how I would go about this. So from the C, from the note C, the previous measure. So I would practice that shift first. From first finger to second, that's the practice. And then add the grace notes. So again. Very tricky. And then try to do it without the accents. You still have to accent it, but not in such a way where it's changing the rhythm, because I feel like I was changing the rhythm there. So like that. That's better. And yeah, so that's everything that I have for this section. I hope you enjoyed following through this guided practice challenge, and feel free to post a video if you like, playing a section of the Czardas or from top to bottom. So thanks again for joining, and I will see you on my next video. Bye.